So I'm not sure if I'm getting bored, but I have recently been on a super deep dive into vintage clothes. Now, let's first talk about vintage clothes. At first, never ever wanted to be into vintage clothes because why? I always felt somebody used to have it. They might have been dirty, didn't shower that much, may have been contaminated with their clothing, may have been a serial killer, something that didn't seem very appeasing to me. So never really wanted to rock vintage clothes. I don't like thrifting. I don't like doing any of that stuff because it's felt dusty. But nowadays, I think I've unfolded over a new leaf. Now I feel like the clothes aren't just something that someone has had who may have been a serial killer or who maybe didn't bathe for 10 days, but it has a little bit of a story. Something that's a rare find, something that you can make unique to you that you know that everyone else can't get their hands on. So I went ahead and I've been copping a few vintage things, whether it's from Depop, eBay. They opened up a new store in McKinney, Texas called Yoki that I got a t-shirt from. I'm really into the vintage fit. Cool thing about vintage clothes, things from the 70s and the 80s, is that they have a nice snug fit and a different kind of cut, which I love, honestly. A lot of shirts these days are trying to replicate the old style, the old way shirts were made and things of that nature, but you can't really get the authentic, true feel of a vintage shirt unless it's a vintage shirt. So a few things that I've copped is this yellow shirt. Wanted to go ahead and get something that's popping color. This navy blue shirt here to get something that's a little easier to wear with anything. And then the shirt I'm wearing. And all this isn't vintage. This is from Imogen and Willie. It has a little bit of a vintage vibe. I went ahead and cropped a little bit more to give a little more of a rough edge and to make things feel a little bit more for me. What I have to say about vintage clothing is truly transcend what clothing really is. You can really take a deep dive and find the true essence of a clothes, the essence of when they were made and the story that's been. It's really just clothes, guys. And honestly, you can find some really cool things that fit really nicely within the vintage department. It's also the chase, the effort, the look, the feel, the browsing. I think some of that effort in finding a good vintage piece also makes it feel worthwhile and a little bit special whenever you have it for yourself. One of the crazy things that I also think about vintage is that someone would never guess back in the 80s or the 70s that some child who looks like me would be wearing something that they threw out that they didn't feel that they needed. Well, surprise. That's it for the vintage. I'm a newbie. I'm a baby when it comes to the vintage stuff. Although I have collected quite a few concert tees, I'm branching out into other realms for vintage items. So we'll see how long this lasts. It might be just for this week. It might be for this month. It might be for the rest of the year. Either way, go ahead and try something new with your fashion and see you soon.